Dharma deham Dharma manas Dharma buddhi atma Dharma priyajan Dharma sarvajan Dharma desh dharme dhara Dharma neham dharma ekam Dharma hi katishilata Dharma jivan dharma chetan Dharma hi anand param Sahajam asti asti asti. So these few lines are about right care of my body, my feelings, thoughts, and my soul. In yoga context, we can call it buddhi. Right care of my family, community, country, and earth. Let this right care come from sense of oneness, love, and action. And let this right care takes us to our nature with which we are born. I affirm this, I affirm this, I affirm this. Because that is what we want. This is the essence of yoga. So I think after that we'll discuss that how would you like to start if there is any question. Because then after that we can start with the definition of yoga itself to clarify, because it's such a common term. So any question before, any thoughts?
No questions.
I feel the questions will arise.
Okay.
Because I do have a ton of questions, but I'd rather we clarify.
Yeah, that's right. Meera, anything would you like to say?
No, I'm very excited, so just sit down.
So first of all, we must explore the definition of yoga. Because there is a huge varieties of yoga, Nadi yoga, Patanjali's yoga, Kundalini yoga, Hatha yoga, Bhakti yoga, Karma yoga, Gyan yoga, and so on and so forth. And how can we define
Yoga means union.
union? Union with what?
I guess, I don't know, my head says union of your mind and body, or like it could be any kind of union, you and universal energy, I don't know which one is the intention, but the ones we know usually
That's right.
mind and body.
Yeah, because that is how it is conceived, but that is not the idea of original yoga. But of course, this is very good because this is a process. So certainly, unless our mind, body integrate, we cannot go further. Because if there is a mind-body split, this mind is fighting with the body and body is struggling with the mind, our emotions, our thoughts, and that conflict is so common. All our energies will be dissipated and we will reach nowhere. So here we are focusing more on Patanjali yoga and Hatha yoga also, because from Hatha yoga comes asanas, And later on, we will be exploring Kundalini Yoga. So ultimately, how we can define it. Any other ideas, thoughts? Why, please.
To me, yoga, the more that I practice and learn about different types, it feels like a return. And you were talking about essence in the beginning, and that's what it means to me is a return, you know, and that's how I like returning home or returning to your essence or your purpose, or you know, maybe some people have like different definitions, but I think essentially it's the same thing to
Right.
its source.
So that means something happened to us. We came far away from our home, and now we want to go home because we took a journey, you and me, and that was wonderful journey also, with all this happiness and pain and sorrow, joy, achievement, failures. But still, it doesn't feel the right place. Because if it was the right place, we'll be all contented. We'll say, okay, I'm done. I'm glad because I'm at home. So despite whatever we do, there is a constant discontent, restlessness, hunger, thirst for more and more and more. And what happens is people go for more and more, they are lost even more and more, because each step we take, it has 50% positive possibility and 50% negative. So we get married and we think happily ever after, but not realizing that it is inherent in that relationship. Problem will come, it may fall apart. We have children, again the same thing. We think, yeah, our children, all great, all wonderful, not not and then we curse, I never thought of that. So there's never, because each decision we make, there is a 50% problem, 50%. So yes, returning to our essence, and as Meera said, that start with the mind-body integration, and we will go into details. We are just laying the very basics so that we understand it clearly. Anything?
For me, I feel like it is a lifestyle, because there's so many different, like you mentioned, there's so many different kinds of yoga. That you can just be doing yoga all the time without even realizing you're doing it. So it's like a lifestyle.
So that is another facet, very important, because I may do yoga, I may do meditation, I may do breath work for how long? Even if I don't have any work and I have all the free time, 3-4 hours, 5 hours. After that, my body will complain, my mind will complain, I'll get bored, I will fall asleep. So this external yoga I can do only so much. So you're very right. Yoga, another, means that it is 24 hours. And 24 hours can only happen when I am home, when I return to my essence. And in that home I am living all the time. So aim of yoga is 24 hours. But of course, it doesn't start with that. We have to start with little bit, a trickle. First of all, a drop, then a trickle, then it becomes a stream becomes river. And then we are fully in river, and then we reach the ocean. We become the ocean. So 24 hours is absolutely good. So whether I'm eating or talking or sleeping or making love or taking care of children or angry, frustrated, failed, all kinds of things, that becomes the part of yoga. Because a lot of people think that, okay, yoga means, I'm always very calm, very peaceful, not angry, not disturbed, completely a wrong view. If you meet some of these yogis, you will be terrified because, yeah, because yoga doesn't mean elimination of all this. No matter what I become, a Buddha, a Patanjali, Krishna, it doesn't matter. Until I'm living, all these feelings, emotions, they will emerge. So yoga doesn't mean everything is out. No. Only thing is, their power is so little. Because in a normal situation, my anger persists, it accumulates, my jealousy persists, my failures persist, and ultimately they bog me down. But here what happens, they will come for a moment. They won't leave any emotional memory. So the next day, I'll start as if everything new. The yesterday is gone completely. But normally what people do, they accumulate thousands and thousands of yesterdays. And whole lives become a burden. So we have to be very clear, please don't, because a lot of people artificially suppress their emotion because they think, I'm doing yoga, I'm doing meditation, so I must suppress it. Completely a wrong view. Anger becomes very appropriate. Anger is absolutely vital in certain situations, otherwise how we are going to fix problems in external world. But that anger is very contextual. In particular context, it came and disappeared. That is not continuous. So continuous versus contextual. So that is why there is no suppression of any emotions, any feeling, any thought. Because in this new situation, they will rise, they will disappear. They will rise, they will disappear. They won't leave any impact on us.
Would it also have to do with like practicing yoga, taking it out to the world's end, just being able to deal with those situations better because they're going to come up anyways, but like you said, you're not giving them power, but because you're practicing yoga as a lifestyle, you're just able to handle the situations easier when they arise.
That's right.
Okay.
That is why in yoga I will add another one. You solve the problem before the problems come. Because one thing is that, okay, here is the problem I'm going to solve. But here, you already solved the problem before even it arises. So it's a strange thing. What that means? If my mind, inside, background of my life or mind is peaceful, loving, compassion, it already took care of all the future problems which are coming. Right? Because it's there. So you can apply in any situation, wherever it arises, because solution is already sitting there. So it becomes the background. Even of physical noise, physical disturbances. Because once this occurs, its depth and its vastness is so much, it can absorb anything. From physical, of course, extreme physical can damage the body, but the normal noise and all the, plus all the noise of the emotions and thoughts, it just absorbs. because they are very limited and it has infinite depth and vastness. So already solution is there. So this is a very strange thing. Normally what we do, we prepare ourselves to deal with the situation, or when situation comes, we deal with it, we think about it, we analyze it, and then that is gone. It's a very spontaneous, because already is there, this whole vastness, just like a sky, space. So smoke arises, clouds come, all things go on. It's already taken care of. They all absorb and then the sky becomes clear. Same thing. Our mind becomes infinite space. But in the beginning, of course, we have to deal with individual situation. Same thing. A lot of people think, very accomplished yogis, they don't have sexual desire. They have. It's just like a flicker comes and disappears. It doesn't affect their body. They notice it. Oh, this came. But no action happens.
So then still with the rise of anger coming,
Mm-hmm.
would just recognizing and feeling it, not acting on it,
Exactly.
that's still not suppressing it though?
No.
Okay.
Because in this state, you will be even more intensely aware. The reason being, when mind is relatively empty, peaceful, you will notice anything very clearly. Because this is the only thing which is arising, so it will absolute total attention. When mind is so much filled with multiple reactions, so many things we don't even notice. And later people told, what you said. You were not feeling very good. You were angry. I was not angry. They don't even notice because there's so many strong emotions, one after the succession of it. Here, the mind's the space is so clear. So even a little cloud, tiny one, you'll be noticed. Oh yeah. In this
The moment you say, I shouldn't be thinking that, or I shouldn't be feeling that, you're cutting it off,
Yeah.
and you're not fully feeling it, and you are, I guess you're still attaching yourself to that because you're saying, I shouldn't be thinking that.
That's right.
Right.
Because that is what happens. The moment you say I should or I should not, becomes a problem. But in this situation, there is no need to worry because that vastness in you is already your nature, your essence is taking care of it. Process is entirely spontaneous. It is not connected with your past, it is not connected with your future. So that is why it arises in the moment and it disappears. Because most of the time, how we respond to the word with the whole history. So there was something happened in our relationship. I'm still carrying. So what happens when in the future there is a pleasant encounter, is good. The moment it becomes negative, the whole history of negativity is imposed on you. So I'm not talking about what you said now. Actually, I'm gathering the energy of all past interaction and then whole of that will be thrown on you. And then you will ask, listen, I was not talking about that. What are you talking? I'm just talking about this small thing. You say, no, this is a repetitive pattern. You must see this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. And now we are lost. That is how we can't resolve problem in relationship. Instantly the whole history of the past comes.
When those things happen, do you just feel it all, or like, yeah?
But not in this essence, because there's nothing of the past. Here, you respond in this moment, in this context purely. Problem is resolvable. If I'm just responding to this moment, no problem. Once I take the whole past and I'm predicting future, okay, I expect the same thing from you. I know you are not going to change. It happened 50 times more. So that is why relationship, they become so stale. Stale because of the past. It's still going on.
So true.
Pardon?
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anything about yoga, because we were defining definition of yoga, because then I will project something.
Yeah, I mean, there's like originally like so many definitions that come up, and everyone kind of touched on that. The one thing I guess that is relevant, and I almost really kind of stemmed this whole thing, was reading that book and how they talk about going through the 8 limbs and how he hits samadhi. And so samadhi comes up to me when I hear yoga, and reading those things, it just makes it seem like it's so untouchable in a way for us in society. And so I think of yoga as this union with samadhi, whatever even that is, or that experience is, and it just seems like it's so out of reach.
And that is what so unfortunate it happened. And the reason being, somehow we created so much mystery around it. And I think a lot of worshippers of gurus, and also bringing unnecessary sacredness, put it so far away. But what Patanjali says, it is our nature. Means it is here right now. But when I create a gap between myself and my nature, space will become so huge, distance will become so huge, that I myself cannot reach myself. And whole of this idea of purity is so wrong, and that is why I was emphasizing no yogi can be 100% pure. It is impossible if we are living in the world.
That's good to know.
Yeah. But impurities will come, and they will be taken care of in a different way. Because then I'm struggling myself. Because certain yogis say, first of all, be pure. But now my mind is not pure. So that means it's really far. I can never reach there. I hope reach there. So I will torment myself, I will torture myself, I will try not to be impure, but I will become impure because that is the nature of the mind. Then I will pull myself down. I'm not worthy, I'm guilty, I'm wasting my time. Then I go to another guru, and this whole business goes on. So we have to be very clear that whosoever we are, actually we approach it not by eliminating this and that, but entering into our nature or samadhi. That will take care of it. Most people just they feel guilty. Yeah.
And I think guilt is the biggest energy sucker.
Yes.
So that's why we don't have enough to go inside.
That's right.
Because it's all dissipated towards guilt.
Yeah.
Whether you have guilt because you want to live your true life, but you can't because of your kids and all the loved ones. Or you do it and you feel guilty still because, you're just living your life and not paying attention. Or you feel guilty because you make mistakes and you are human and you're not that pure and sacred and all this stuff, and
That's
you feel guilty about that.
Yeah.
And guilty because you see everyone suffers, now you can't do anything about it. So a lot of our energy on a daily basis just goes there.
Because somehow we got the message from the teachers and book, and we projected purity on this state. So it is our mental projection, and we become the victim.
And constant in the state of fixing, I guess.
Yes. Ourselves.
Do you think that's where maybe like the business of yoga had a little part? It's like that always wanting more, always reaching for perfection, like you always need, like, take this or keep going, take this. Like you always need to achieve something or study something because it's not okay to be a little bit like broken or guilty or human.
I think
Yes.
it's the nature of West because it's very much mind based. So only brought the component, the mind component part of it, that you have to perfect it. Like everything is about perfecting something, and mind loves to perfect things. Right?
And from where this idea came. So, perfection versus wholeness. Perfection is always partial. Wholeness is always about totality. Wholeness means there is impurity and there is a purity. I need not to try to exclude all impurities, because then I'm trying to achieve the perfection. But that perfection is a half reality, half truth. And from where this idea came? It was already there in all cultures. In West it became particularly big. And why? The process started almost 300 years ago. Action happened more than 150 years ago when industrialization started. Because what happened in industrialization, we wanted to create perfect products. Because our civilization here is about perfection in technology, perfection in housing, a car, a plane, product, cloth, everything. And that is how they are competing, making it more and more perfect. And that idea of technology seeped into people's mind also. Perfect relationship, perfect son, perfect this, perfect that. And that was devastating. And everything became technique, because that is what technology is about, is technique. That if you know the technique, if you know the process, then everything is done. Not realizing is not true. Technical help is merely a small piece of it. It is about the whole life's wholeness. So a lot of people go into technique. Okay, if I master 56 poses, if I breathe for 1 hour, alternate nostril breathing, or I meditate, then. Because that is how we are told. If you perform a technique, you do the procedure, you will get end product. And that was seeped in our education.
And I guess even more after World War II.
Yes.
So you're seeing that on TV and the products making the perfect housewife and then
The picket fence and the house and the kids and
Which works in external world, and that's great, because I want a perfect plane if possible, so it won't fall from the sky, you know. I want a perfect train or perfect car in a house which won't leak in winter. So, but once we come to living human, they can never move in a linear way. Relationship can never move in a linear way. There will be all kinds of messy feeling, messy things, and we have to sort out. And that needs entirely a different way of dealing. So perfection versus wholeness. When we are approaching yoga, technique is important, but technique has to be done with wholeness. Because there is no perfect technique. There is no perfect pose.
because then how would you define it, right? I guess how would you define purification? What is pure? What is perfect?
That's right. Because there is none.
who's the judge?
That's right. Wholesomeness in yoga is perfection. And in wholesomeness means constantly things are in flux. And there is the impurities and purities and the negative and failure. All that is the part of yoga. The moment you are trying to eliminate, already we failed in yoga. We will be struggling, fighting with ourselves. And that is how it is taught most of the time. Don't be angry, don't do this, don't do this, don't do it. But I'm doing all this, so there must be something fundamentally wrong with me. You look at the Guru who is talking, you look into his life, her life, super messy, more corrupt than. I have seen plenty because I lived in Rishikesh for so many years and met so many people and read the biography of some of the great ones. They had all there, but in their teachings they were projecting.
And
Why?
I think we kind of put them on a pedestal in a way.
That's right.
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a very good way to exploit. How? I'm saying that this is perfection, this purity. My students are not able to do it. They will feel guilty. Guilt is the best way to exploit a human being. Because then I will say, I will fix your problem. I get power, I get money. That is how money is made. People's guilt or fear. Those are the two core problems of humanity, fear and guilt.
The original sin.
Original sin,
Right.
yeah, which is nothing else but guilt.
Religions have power over
Yeah,
you.
oh my gosh.
If I'm born with original sin, then who is going to free me? A commission agent. Who is that commission agent? A priest, a bishop, a pope. They are intermediary. How priesthood flourishes, how politics flourishes, fear and guilt. These are the two. That I'm coming to you and please, help me. You donate this much, you do this, you do that, and that is how priesthood everywhere flourish on those two, fear and guilt. So now we must come to the definition of yoga, but I will go to Patanjali because, then we can connect to him. So I'll start the first slide.
With technology so much every day, just iPad. Like we don't have any paper, no pen. So I get it because when I get a chance, I just love to.
See, I'm all about it, old school. Like I have my physical calendar. I can't do it.
I know, me too, but at school you can't do it.
It's all about
That's crazy.
There's no paper.
I would have 16.
I do all my journaling still.
Yeah,
And it's not
but like, I don't get time to do. I come home like, what technology is just so much. But it's nice to have like traditional like classes, old
Yes.
fashioned. With those projectors, I miss them.
Oh, the big ones that have the,
It's in the last one.
where you roll it out with the projector and you slide the things.
Overhead transparent.
Yes.
That's right.
Well, even this though, this from 20 years ago, we've been using this.
I'm not exactly taking them in sequence with Patanjali. I will come to. So basically, the 4 verses or 4 sutras, actually they are the foundation of whole of the yoga or any other yoga. So if we understand them, we'll understand very clearly. And I will connect it to various other teachings also. So what is yoga? When the seer rests in their true nature, just like you said, essence coming home. Nature is very important here. Nature means it's my nature. Nature means it's not something away from me. Because away from me, anything is artificial, it's not my nature. Nature means natural, and I'm naturally carrying it all the time, 24 hours. So, one thing we must be very, very clear, we don't achieve anything. Achievement is always about something outside me. It is the part of me, so I don't achieve anything because it is part of me. So, I sleep in the night, deep sleep, and then I wake up in the morning. I don't say I achieved my body. I was not aware of it. I agree, but it was always part of me. But if I take an artificial limb from outside, then yeah, I got an artificial limb in my body that I got from outside. So just like deep sleep, I'm not aware of it, but that doesn't mean it is not the part of me. So we don't achieve anything, but we return to it. I think you said that we return. Yeah. We return to it because we forgot about it. Oh yeah, it was part of me. Now I remember. So whatever we do in yoga, reclaiming what is mine. That is why Patanjali is very clear in this verse. Seer rest in their nature because they were not resting before in their nature. But what is that nature? The question comes because that is how we become very vague, this is my nature, this is my essence, this is my home, as we were describing. But we have to be very clear about it because then we will understand. So I will take another slide now, and that will give you the system from where the yoga evolved, and that is called Sankhya. Sankhya. Samkhya. Sankhya. Because from Sankhya, two parts came. One was Ayurveda, and second is yoga. And Sankhya means counting. Counting. So if I'm counting, okay, how many objects are on this table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is Sankhya.
Where are they counting?
Eh?
What are they counting?
Who is counting? He must be a mathematician. We call him mathematician. Sankhya's founder was Kapila. He's a sage 3,000 years ago. He was a mathematician, but a spiritual mathematician. He was the first one who counted the elements which creates the universe, inner universe.
Capital?
Kapil, Kapil. K-A-P as in Peter, I-L, Kapil. He was very precise. And later on, people became so vague about it. Kapila was the mathematician yogi. His disciples were the teacher of Buddha. Alara Kalama was who taught meditation to Buddha. So Kapila, pre-Buddhist, his disciples, Buddha. But he was so precise. That is why Buddha was so precise. No nonsense. Because if I understand clearly, no nonsense, mathematically, because the beauty of yoga is it is mathematics and poetry.
I love how it always seems to come back to math, and with non-yoga specifically, like sound and vibration too. Like it's always something that can be equal parts measured and felt. It's like the scientific and the spiritual realms meeting.
Exactly. That is why yoga is science. And we will discover how deeply embedded it in this biology and body and our brain. So what he counted, he said whole of the cosmos is made up of 25 elements. Now I'm going to show those slides. So there are 25 elements, and then we will understand our home, our nature, essence, what it means, what is my goal, where I will reach through these 25 elements. And they are very precise, they are very clear. So I'll go to
Now, a question comes up.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to be answered right now.
yes.
It could, I'm sure we'll probably come to, but a question comes up with this true nature is it different for everyone?
No,
Okay.
it cannot be. Below that, it will be different.
Okay.
Ultimate nature cannot be different.
Okay.
But as soon as you are below that, immediately world becomes divided into multiple units. So each one of us will have a different view. And that will be very understood here again, very clearly, where it starts the process when we become different. But at this point, no. So I have to switch on to different slide. Thank you. This is Sage Kapila. What is the time here?
It's 5:16, something like that.
5:60.
Yeah.
Then we are here for
Until 6.
6. Yeah, so we have 45 minutes. Good. This slide is too crowded, so I'll go to another one. Yeah, that is better. Pardon?
Oh, Monica has something up and she's just scrolling through. Is that your to-do list?
Now, what is nature? Where is home? That is on the top right with a purple. Push.
What's that word in the middle of Purusha? Avi.
Avyakt, which cannot be ever described, defined, or can be narrated in terms of human language. Purusha, Puru means a place or home. That is all. Puru means a city, a place.
City and place.
City or a place.
Pura.
Purusha. I can send you this artwork. That is where I have to reach in all yogas. And that cannot be different.
So that would be true nature. Okay.
What that means? Okay, yeah, this is nature. But what will be the experience? Experience will be of pure consciousness. And what is the meaning of pure consciousness? That is where purity is achieved. But of course, as I said, nobody can live in that pure state because they have to come down, because this state you cannot sustain for long. What does this mean, the nature, the home, or this Purusha or pure state? That simply means there is only one experience left. And that is the feeling of my own life or existence, which is infinite and timeless. What that means? If I'm aware of you or this, there is a recognition. Because like my granddaughter, we are teaching her, this is bottle, this is man, this is dad, this is grandpa. So we are teaching her and she will recognize next time. First time she will not recognize. That is called cognition. She must be seeing various things but doesn't understand. Yeah, it's there. Something is there. But there is no name. Right? So whatever we do in the world is all a recognition. It is not cognition. Because in cognition there is no name. There is no form. Only one thing which remains, so you are basically disconnected from the world in a way. And what you are aware in this nature is just feeling of yourself. But that yourself or self has no limit because it is not limited by recognition. Because the moment I say it is computer recognition, my word is limited to this computer. Then I move to Mira, my word is limited to Mira because Mira is something which exists time and space, limited by it. Or a bottle, or a cup, or this yoga studio. Because immediately my consciousness is occupied. Because how I recognize the computer? So I saw the computer is filled my consciousness. Immediately I went back to my memory and I said, this is computer. All memory is limited.
So you don't recognize this state.
That is why you cannot describe it.
How do you know you're there?
I mean, everything is moving, but you are living in this pure state of cognition. Just feeling, that pure feeling, away from everything. and it has no boundary. So if you are not connected either to your memory or to external world in those moments, how you will feel? Pure peace. Because nothing is disturbing you, neither your past nor your future, nor whatever is going on. Absolute tranquility. And because you are not limited by these things, it is infinite. Because nothing is limiting you. The moment I connect to external world, it will limit me.
So, do blind people have a better, like this is kind of a weird question, but you don't see things. So are they more connected to themselves, to that pure? Are they not as distracted as us because we have that ability to limit?
That's right. But they are disconnected. They are connected in a different way.
But they're still using their ears and still.
Right, yeah,
So their internal world is also filled with images,
right.
but not external world. So they are not purer, but they are accessing the world, same world, in a different way.
Right, okay.
So are general feelings connected to that, or is that still limited? Like,
It is limiting.
because I found, well, I don't know if I found, I think it was just through research and stuff. It was like, and it kind of resonated with me in a way, but feelings are hard to describe in a way. Like the description of, like, love, or, you know, how is it so hard to describe those feelings in a way?
I totally agree. But the moment you connect feeling with any specific object or thing, it is limited. Love is limited. In this moment,
Right.
there is no word love because all language has limitations. The moment you use language, that is why this is a state of pure silence. All language is finished. There is no language. Then you come down, and whatever experience is left in your brain, then you try to give it language, but you cannot give it language because there was a pure silence. Silence, stillness, peace.
So I guess that's how philosophy and everything made a mess out of this because
Yes.
they tried to describe it, they couldn't.
No,
They have to come up with all these general
exactly.
and make it so complicated.
So complicated. And that is why it seems like we will never achieve. So this state of Purusha is our nature, of pure consciousness in which there are no thoughts but just a feeling of existence. So we are sitting here in just the feeling of existence. Otherwise we are disconnected from everything.
And that's a feeling probably beyond the feelings we're normally feeling.
Exactly. You said it so beautifully. It is the feeling beyond all feelings. It is still a feeling, but beyond all feeling because it is not connected with anything. It is so pure. The moment I connect to any feeling, anger, love, beauty, happiness, so on, they are all limited. There is no condition to it. All other feelings are conditioned. Love towards my wife, my brother, my daughter, conditioned by her. Here, there is no conditioning. That is why this is the only unconditional state. So a lot of people say, I love my child unconditionally. Rubbish. My condition of love is my child. A mother's love is conditional love. The moment I connect to someone and feeling is generated, it's all conditional. Because she's the condition, he's the condition. on which my love is dependent. And that is why if something is happening to her or him, I suffer. Because it's conditional. Here, all suffering disappeared because it is just pure, unconditional, beyond. And as Meera said, its nature is bliss.
I think the best, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, whatever, but I felt that the most, noticing it the most, when you kind of wake up and feel there's no recognition. Like,
Yes.
it's just one moment that you're just there, but then all the words and all the things come to your awareness. But I feel like some mornings I'm just like, I just don't know what's going. Like it's just you see everything just like that child you said.
Yes.
But there's nothing in your head, no, nothing. It's just a very beautiful feeling. And then there's a rush and oh God, I have to
Meera said it very rightly. When we wake up, for a moment, just there is a feeling, but no specific feeling, and then the word barges.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
So yoga is establishing in my nature, coming home. This is the home. Just pure, unconditional, tranquil, peaceful. Nothing else is there. And it is a feeling beyond all things. But what happens? Then I connect to Prakriti. Prakriti is matter and energy. So Purusha is pure consciousness and Prakriti is matter and energy.
So matter is involved with it, it's not just energy. Matter is
Because energy matter are exchangeable, as Einstein was
Oh,
very
okay,
clear.
okay, right.
So energy and matter, primarily we call it energy, Prakriti, the mother. Once Purusha is connected with Prakriti, as happens, you woke up and for a moment you are in pure Purusha, then immediately word is connected and then the whole world. So you can see these are total 25 elements of universe. This is pure, that is where we want to reach ultimately. But quite often we live, or most of the time, because this pure consciousness is connected with the energy. And various patterns of energy, they form Mahat, our universe. And then human beings and all other creation. So even what we call universal consciousness is not pure. That is what I wanted to say. Because this is universal consciousness, this is individual consciousness.
Maha is
Mahat is,
universal?
it's the universal. Because if you really look into the nature of the living universe, it is a mixture of consciousness and energy. If I ask you, define life, because we talk about life all the time. What is life? People will give very elaborate definitions. This is life, that is life. Very simple. Consciousness and energy. Whether it's a bacteria or you and me. Those two elements are common to all life form, but their expression is different. You are made up of consciousness energy, just like a cow or a dog. But level is different.
This question comes up for me with this. What's ahankara?
Ahamkara means
It's
sense of individuality.
so it's the individual.
Individual.
Now, because I know I'm probably going to come across this, and it's on the top of my mind for some reason, but where would prana fit into that?
Prana is energy.
So would it be like, would you would it be categorized in Prakriti? Or?
Yeah. Prana is nothing else but the instrument of Prakriti. Prakriti and prana you can understand as the same.
Okay.
Any kind of energy, because what is prana? Prana is energy. Prakriti is nothing else but energy.
Yeah, because there are different energies, I guess, prana, mana, all of those, they're all part of the same.
I mean,
So they'll all fall into.
Yeah.
into Prakriti.
Okay.
Everything else evolves from Prakriti. We must understand
Right.
this.
Okay. Yeah.
All energy matter in any form, whether it's electrical energy, magnetic energy, bioenergy, life energy, it doesn't matter. And the moment energy comes, energy had different patterns. Everything in consciousness is disturbed now. Because now the whole 9 yards of life will start. In pure consciousness, nothing is there except feeling of self. Consciousness. Pure, tranquil, infinite. The moment consciousness connects to the energy.
So I'm assuming that Purusha had a desire to experience these 25 whatever. Is that's how it started? There must be one
Theoretical,
thing.
yes. I mean, that is a philosophical speculation, but that question cannot be answered.
So what's up when you're putting us through all of that?
Yeah, just thinking when we already have bliss.
Yeah.
Why would we do
Why
this?
does it put us through all that?
I heard this one guy say, it was very interesting. He's like, imagine you live in a world where you could have anything and everything and you can fly and go and do whatever, and because at some point it's going to start getting boring, and then a magical button shows up and it says press this and you can experience the most highest of highs, and or you can, and with that you're going to experience the lowest of lows. And he says, like, the question is not if you're going to push the button, it's when you're going to push the button. And I thought it's very fitting.
But there are some questions
Yeah.
cannot be, we can speculate. Because I've gone through this, and Shri Aurobindo wrote about it. Many people in Indian teaching, they for thousands of years. But the problem is all, maybe or may not be. Even the hymn of creation 5,000 years ago, they also said, we don't know. We can never know. The very source, the very origin.
When we experience, but when people experience that true nature, they say we use 10% of our brain, or whatever the number is, I don't know exactly. Does that activate more of the brain?
Yes. See, I would like to elaborate on it so we become clear. What is the meaning of 10% of brain using? If you go to a scientist, they will absolutely refute. They will say it's rubbish. But what you are saying is true. Because scientists, they miss something. 10% brain means when I'm sitting here, various parts of my brain, which has memory, what I'm teaching, experiences, those parts of the brain come together. Right? And that is approximately 10% of my brain. Although physiologically my 100% brain is active because I'm not, my 90% brain is not dead. So physiologically, the whole of my brain is getting blood supply, energy running through it. But for this task, what I am doing, it is no more than 10%. My bicep muscle, how much I used? 10, 20%, 30%? I had much more capacity, but I was not interested. So, but a person who goes to gym and start, their biceps muscles can become very strong. Inherent potential was there in my quads, in my bicep, in my shoulder muscle, but I never tried. So same thing happens to most human beings. They use their 10%. Once you are going to yoga, now you are increasing. And a point comes when most of the brain comes together. All parts are connected together. And in those moments, we generate a very special wave called gamma wave. So it is not something, hypothetical now. And that happens also when we are dying. Yes. Because people thought that a dying brain is a scattered brain, chaotic brain. What they are finding, no. So there is a research on mice as well as on human. It was a remarkable paper released 10 years ago. So it becomes explodingly powerful. But that happens in this state also. So you are very right that, and again connecting to Monica, we are mostly here. We are returning home. This is very much the part of it. But where we exist here, so yoga is journey back home. Realizing our full individuality, our cosmic or universal nature, but ultimately resting in that purity. And once that is what is ultimate samadhi. Once we will go to samadhi, you will understand. Because there are 7 types of samadhi. This is the last samadhi going into nature. It is called Kaivalya.
Cavalier?
Yeah. Absolute Kaivalya.
Cabelia.
Yeah, it is a Sanskrit word. I will introduce later. Means absolute aloneness. Because in this moment, you are just yourself purely.
So the final stage of samadhi would be the
Yes.
Purusha.
Yes.
Would any of the limbs be broken down
Of
into
course,
those?
we will do. Because we will take 7 samadhi, and how samadhi starts from here, and then gradually we ascend and finally come to this.
So, just I guess maybe humor my categorizing how I'm kind of putting this together. So, say dharana. Would that fit into, like, would it be like, okay, you're kind of playing with ankara?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So in dharana, because we are ascending, when we will discuss so dharana means when our distractions are becoming less and less, and we are able to focus more and more.
And that would be the individual. And so we're kind of roughing in ankara.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. But that will be very clear. Once we describe 8 limbs, it will be very simplified, very easy to understand.
Yeah, I think it just kind of came up and it was kind of helping me
That makes so much sense.
image
when-
it.
Yeah, when you're like focusing and simplifying, then you're able to see like the big picture, I guess, and then reach the universal consciousness and see how everything's connected.
And the beauty is, as you are returning home, you will experience all your potentiality. Idea of yoga is not only to reach there, you have much more. You may be a musician, you may be an artist, you may be a poet, a writer. Everything actually will come to its full fruition. Your full worldly personality will flourish. Because this is the fruit. From root, stem, branches, leaves, flowers, it will be a full tree of life. Ultimately will reach absolutely the peak. And that is what samadhis are all about. To become a full human being in the world also. and then resting nature.
When you're going through these stages, I guess in comparison to in society, I guess with what I've been reading, is that they have these states of some, let's call it the yogic powers or whatever. Now, going through it in how we finding our true nature, are you still gonna have like be having yogic powers, like
Yes.
because they say that it's like a marker, right, to know
That's right.
where you are.
That's right.
Okay.
So each one of us have inherent powers, and those powers will be released. It may be power of healing, it may be power of clairvoyance, it may be power of creativity, depending, because each one of us are built in a unique way. So we have unique power. So I may not be healer, but my unique power may be that I can speak beautifully, I can write beautifully. So it depends what is embedded in that unique nature of ours. Because here, there is nothing unique. Uniqueness is dissolved. But until this point, all our uniqueness. And so it's not only a question of resting in nature, but our uniqueness will be expressed in the world. We will be successful in the world. Because if my unique powers are manifesting, I'll express it very naturally. So yoga is not only just reaching the top. The whole journey, just like in India, we used to go to these remote sacred shrines, started our journey from the town of Rishikesh. But then you go and there is a valley and there are waterfalls, the forest and the flora and fauna, and then gradually we reach, and then white Himalayas, and finally we reach the sacred shrine. So even in between, the whole journey is so enchanting, and that is why a lot of people are lost in between on this yoga journey. They are distracted. We have to, goal is clear, I'm going to reach Purusha. Whatever comes in between is extra gift, extra blessing.
Well, it's obvious if you don't attain your individuality, it's so hard to get to the universe.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna sneak and use the washroom. Keep talking because it's filming, so it's okay. I just have to
Again, how much?
10 to 6. We have 10 minutes.
10 minutes. So I will just take from here, scale. So now I will. So what is yoga? Yoga is my true nature. But what is the problem? Why I am not there?
It doesn't do it in all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have chitta vrati. Chit means anything which is below consciousness, below the Purusha, pure nature. It may be universal, it may be individual, it doesn't matter. So why I'm not there in my nature? Because this pure consciousness is not pure consciousness anymore for me. It becomes chitta. Chit means when this pure consciousness is mixed with prakriti or energy. As we said, then this pureness and suddenly all this energy comes and all the patterns are formed and the world and the universe comes into being. So why I'm not there home? Patanjali says because of the 5 problems. They are called Chitta Vrati. And Chitta means a mind, which means individual mind, cosmic mind, it doesn't matter. But Chitta means when the pureness disappears and it is filled with all kinds of things. Life. It may be individual life, it may be worldly life, it may be cosmic life, it doesn't matter. So that is why in yoga, one of the prime basic statements, yoga chitta vrati nirodh. These 5 modifications because of prakriti, because of energy. If I can deal with those 5, I will be resting in my nature. If I cannot, then the seer identified with mental activities which are called chitta vratis. So if I am not able to transcend them, go beyond them, then I will be forever. I may have universal consciousness, it doesn't matter because still it won't be that pristine, pure experience of my home Purusha. So I'll repeat them because that is where we will end. So yoga is resting in my true nature. Why we cannot rest in true nature? Because of the prakriti, the energy and the matter created everything here and in the universe. And so yoga is restraining that chitta, that consciousness which is disturbed, because it modified the purity. Just like there is a completely still lake, you can see everything very clearly, and the waves comes. You can't see anything. Mind is completely relaxed, calm. You can see things very quickly. Suddenly stress comes, everything is muddled. So we have to restrain those 5 modifications which modified my nature, my Purusha. Because if we don't do that, then a person will be identified with all these 5. There will be grand achievement, but there won't be any enduring tranquility, peace, and bliss. Because Prakriti, energy, its formation always in flux. Only permanent thing in our universe is change.
Yeah.
And when that change will happen, it will affect me. That is what is happening all the time.
So, sorry, and just a curiosity, Indian philosophy, so Shakti and Shiva are these 2?
Shakti is Prakriti, Shiva is
Purusha.
Purusha.
That's nice.
Variously
So they
described.
created that image.
So Shiva is passive. Passive means just there. Shakti,
It's the energy.
all the time, something or other is going on. Non-stop in our mind, in our body, in our world, in our universe.
So that's why it's identified as a female, because it's a creator. It's
Creative
just like,
energy.
constantly creating different forms.
That's
and
right.
thoughts
That's right. But in Shiva, everything comes to an end.
and destroy it. That's great.
So I think I will summarize again because we discussed so much. So yoga is to rest in our nature. Nature is Purusha, pure consciousness, just the feeling of deep tranquility, silence, which is infinite, unconditional. All those concepts of love and everything disappears. That is the only unconditional state. When it is mixed with energy, Shakti, then the world comes into manifestation. Universe, individual, outer world. And Patanjali described those in 5 modifications. 5 types of changes happen during this process. If we can take care of those 5 modifications, we will go to our nature. So whole of Patanjali's 8-limbed yoga is about how those modifications can be restrained so we return home to our nature.
We'll not talk about that thing. Those 5.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking to talk today, but as we said, this is going to be very spontaneous because certain things will take much less time, others will take. And whole idea is a dialogue, is a conversation rather than any kind of teachings.
Well, this was a great place to start.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a joke.
Yeah, I really enjoyed you going over that again with the Purusha and property. And I did it in a teacher training, and I felt like it just made me not understand any of it. It was this was recent. We went over it in February in teacher training in Vancouver, and I thought either they didn't know what they were talking about, or they just didn't know how to teach it. It was interesting. But this makes so much more sense. Yeah.
I think a lot of people haven't experienced it, so sometimes it doesn't mean you're a bad teacher, I'm just saying sometimes when you know it, it's a lot easier to simplify it.
Yes. Yeah.
And now it also becomes clear the limitation of science. What do you think science will be able to investigate whatever we were talking?
We can't.
You can do up to Prakriti, because Prakriti is energy and limited. Purusha, no way, because it is beyond everything. So science will reach the universal consciousness for sure in future. And there are already science in quantum physics that they are saying that a prototype of consciousness is the part of our universe. And Roger Penrose particularly, so won Nobel Prize in physics. He was the one who wrote a book about it, mathematical book. Roger Penrose.
So this potentiality exists in everything.
Everything.
Basically. So it is a possibility that in the future this could be merged with a machine.
Pardon?
But
Oh yeah, anytime it can be connected with machines.
Because if it's just there as a potentiality, it can be merging with any matter.
No, but the
It's
thing
already there.
that's right, but matter will be very limited. Because machine, whatever you feed in the machine, that will be there.
Except the feeling.
Except the feeling, because that is the fundamental between artificial intelligence and living intelligence, feeling. Feeling can never be generated in machine. We can generate very complex algorithm, but feeling, which is the core of life, from bacteria to us. That is why we said, what is this state? It is a feeling. It is a feeling.
In a feeling we can't describe.
Feeling we cannot describe. But a machine can put all the components of feeling and try to imitate. So a robot will be able to express the anger because we put hundreds of chips. But actually inside there is nothing. There is no feeling. we put it together, just like we are generating lot of pictures, but underneath there is no feeling. It is
But is it possible to make a brain in the future for that?
yes, but again the feeling won't be there because this brain will be in almost limitlessly complex machine. Because that is the limitation, Meera. Unless we put a living tissue in the machine.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but if you are putting a living tissue, that means see, you are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No,
I'm
no.
just saying a lot of, parts of us that's falling apart
Mhm.
can be like regenerated
yeah,
through a
yeah.
machine.
That will happen.
But that part, the core life can probably live longer, but not forever. But
That's right. Well, that will happen.
Yeah, that's.
It is already happening,
Mhm.
and that will happening more. That we will replace most of the part, and we will live for 250 or 1,000 years. But nonetheless, everything will be mechanical except that feeling, which is a living one. That can never be replicated.
1,000 years, yeah.